New York never really sleeps. Even at 7:45 p.m., the city outside the glass walls of our corporate tower was glowing, alive with ambition, noise, and dreams that refused to rest. But inside the office, it was quiet. If you love emotional CEO romance stories filled with tension, vulnerability, and unforgettable moments, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment below where you're watching from. The soft hum of the air conditioning, the faint clicking of my keyboard, golden sunset light stretching across the marble floors. Most employees had already gone home. But I stayed. Partly because the quarterly reports needed finishing, and partly because I didn't mind the silence. Late nights gave me clarity. They also gave me distance. Distance from something I had been carefully controlling for 3 years. Olivia Carter, my CEO, the woman who built this company from nothing. She wasn't just powerful. She was disciplined, sharp, precise. Board members twice her age listened when she spoke. Competitors feared her strategy. Employees respected her authority. And I admired her. From a safe distance. I never crossed lines. Never flirted. Never allowed my tone to soften too much. Because she wasn't just a woman. She was my boss. And in corporate America, boundaries matter. I leaned back in my chair and rubbed my eyes. Outside, the skyline looked like liquid gold. The sun was slowly dipping lower, painting everything warm and beautiful. Then I heard it. The soft echo of heels walking across marble. Slow, confident, intentional. My heart reacted instantly. I turned around. And there she was. Olivia stood near the entrance of my office space, wearing her perfectly tailored navy suit. Her posture was straight. Her expression unreadable. But something felt different. There were no assistants behind her. No folders in her hands. No sharp corporate mask. Just her. Daniel. My name sounded softer than usual in her voice. Yes, Ms. Carter. There was a brief pause. Then she said something she had never said before. Close the door. My chest tightened. In 3 years, she had never asked me to close the door after hours. Not once. I stood up slowly, walking toward the glass door, trying not to overthink it. Maybe this was business. Maybe this was serious. Maybe this was something I shouldn't assume. The door clicked shut behind me. The sound echoed through the quiet office. When I turned back around, she wasn't standing across the room anymore. She had stepped closer. Close enough that I could see something I had never noticed before. Fatigue. Not physical exhaustion. Emotional weight. For the first time. She didn't look like a CEO. She looked human. Daniel, she said again, her voice lower now. Yes. She inhaled slowly, as if gathering courage. And I had never seen Olivia Carter gather courage before. Tonight, she whispered, I don't want you to see me as your boss. The air shifted. I want you to see me as a woman. Time slowed. Not because the words were inappropriate, but because they were honest. There was no manipulation in her tone. No power move. Just vulnerability. I searched her face for signs of a test. There were none. Only sincerity. You're always so composed, she continued softly. You never look intimidated by me. I respect you, I answered carefully. I know, she said. That's why I'm here. She walked toward the massive window overlooking the skyline. The city lights reflected in the glass behind her. For years, I've been strong, she said quietly. When my father died, everyone assumed I would fail. Investors doubted me. The board questioned me. Competitors waited for me to collapse. Her voice didn't shake, but it softened. So I built walls. She looked at her reflection. And the problem with walls is they keep everything out. Silence filled the room. Not awkward. Intimate. Heavy with truth. She turned to face me fully now. I'm tired of being untouchable. That word hit differently. Untouchable. She had built an empire. But in doing so, she had isolated herself inside it. You've never tried to impress me, she continued. You've never flirted. Never crossed professional boundaries. It wouldn't have been right, I said. A faint smile appeared on her lips. Maybe tonight, she replied softly. I don't want right. I want real. She stepped closer. Not aggressively. Not seductively. Just honest. Close enough that I could feel the warmth of her presence. Do you know what it feels like? She asked. To be admired for your power but never desired for your heart. I hesitated. Because the truth was, I had desired her. But I had buried it beneath discipline and loyalty. You're not invisible, I finally said. Her eyes searched mine. Then tell me what you see. I took a slow breath. I see a woman who carries too much alone. A woman who became strong because she had no choice. A woman who deserves to be looked at without fear. Her breathing changed. The tension in her shoulders eased. For a moment, the powerful CEO disappeared. And the woman standing in front of me looked relieved. Seen. She stepped even closer. See me, she whispered again. Not as a command. As a request. My hand lifted slowly, giving her space to stop me if she wanted. She didn't. Instead, she lifted her chin slightly. Trust. That's what this was. Not scandal. Not recklessness. Trust. I see you, I said quietly. Something softened in her eyes. Outside, the sun dipped below the skyline completely. Golden light flooded the office one last time. But inside that room, something brighter had already begun. Not an affair. Not a mistake. But the beginning of something neither of us had planned. Yet both of us had needed. And as she stood there, no longer hiding behind a title, I realized something. The most powerful woman in the building just wanted to be seen. And for the first time in 3 years, I wasn't looking away. Before we continue, if Chapter 1 made you feel that tension, that quiet connection, make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. Like this video if you believe powerful women deserve real love. And comment below, should Daniel follow his heart or protect his career? Now, let's continue the story. The next morning felt different. Not awkward. Not dramatic. Just aware. The office buzzed like it always did. Phones ringing. Assistants walking quickly across marble floors. The smell of fresh coffee drifting through the hallway. But something had shifted. Because now, every time I looked toward Olivia's glass office, I didn't just see my CEO. I saw the woman who had whispered, "See me." She was already inside when I arrived for the 9 a.m. strategy meeting. Composed. Professional. Hair perfectly styled. Expression controlled. If someone had walked in at that moment, they would have never guessed what had happened the night before. She didn't look at me immediately. But when she did, it was brief. And it held something private. Something only we understood. The meeting moved forward like any other. Revenue projections. Expansion plans. Investor updates. She spoke with precision. Confidence. Authority. But I noticed something new. Her voice felt lighter. Less guarded. And when the meeting ended, she dismissed everyone except me. The room slowly emptied. The door closed. This time, it wasn't tense. It was intentional. She remained standing near the head of the table. "Did you regret it?" she asked quietly. Her question caught me off guard. Regret what? Last night. There was no CEO tone now. Just honesty. No, I said immediately. Her shoulders relaxed slightly. Neither did I, she admitted. She walked toward the window, sunlight pouring across the room in bright morning gold. I didn't sleep much, she continued. Not because I was worried, but because I kept thinking. About what? About how long it's been since I felt human. That word again. Human. Not powerful. Not strategic. Not untouchable. Just human. She leaned lightly against the glass, looking out over the city she ruled so confidently. Do you know what people call me? She asked. The Iron Queen, I replied. A small smile appeared. Yes. They think I don't feel things. She turned to face me fully. But I do. Her voice softened. When my father passed away, I was 26. Overnight, I became responsible for thousands of employees. Millions of dollars. A legacy that everyone expected me to destroy. She walked slowly toward me. I couldn't afford to cry. I couldn't afford to hesitate. So I became strong. She stopped a few feet away. But strength can become lonely. The silence between us wasn't heavy. It was understanding. You've never treated me like a title, she said quietly. Even before last night. Because you're more than one. Her eyes searched mine carefully. And what am I? She asked. I stepped closer, slowly. You're a woman who had to grow up too fast. A woman who built armor because she needed protection. A woman who deserves softness too. Her breath caught slightly. No one had probably described her like that in years. If ever. She moved toward the couch near the window and sat down, removing her blazer this time. Not in a seductive way. In a relieved way. Sit, she said gently. I sat beside her, leaving respectful space between us. For a moment, neither of us spoke. The city noise below felt distant. Do you ever get tired of being strong? I asked quietly. She laughed softly. Every day. Her fingers brushed lightly against mine on the couch. Electric. But calm. I don't want control with you, she said. I don't want power dynamics. I don't want to be your boss in here. In here? I asked. She looked down at our hands. In moments like this. Her fingers slowly intertwined with mine. And this time, I didn't hesitate. Then don't be, I said softly. She looked at me carefully. You realize this could complicate everything. Yes. The board won't approve. I know. People will assume you're using me. I don't care. That made her smile. For the first time since I met her 3 years ago, she smiled without calculation, without strategy, just warmth. Why aren't you afraid? She asked. I am, I admitted. But I'm more afraid of walking away from something real. That answer stayed between us. She shifted closer, just enough that our shoulders touched. I'm not asking to be saved, she said quietly. I wouldn't try. I just don't want to carry everything alone anymore. And there it was. Not a demand. Not a seduction. A confession. Her head leaned gently against my shoulder, carefully, as if she wasn't used to resting on anyone. And I stayed still, letting her, not rushing, not taking advantage, just being there. The powerful Olivia Carter was finally allowing herself to be vulnerable. And it wasn't dramatic. It wasn't reckless. It was peaceful. Daniel, she whispered after a long pause. Yes. Last night, when you said you see me. Yes. Don't stop. Her voice was barely audible, but it carried more weight than any boardroom speech she had ever given. I won't, I said. Sunlight filled the room fully now. Bright. Warm. Alive. This wasn't a secret affair. It wasn't scandal. It was two adults choosing connection over isolation. Two people tired of pretending they didn't feel something deeper. She lifted her head slightly, looking at me in a way that held no authority. Only trust. I don't want to hide, she said. Then we won't. And in that moment, the woman behind the power stepped forward. Not as a CEO. Not as the Iron Queen. But as Olivia. And I wasn't looking at a title anymore. I was looking at her. And this time, she wasn't alone. Before we continue, if you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for the full series. Like this video if you believe in slow burn romance that's full of tension and emotion. And comment below, would you take the risk for love, even if it could change everything? Now, let's see what happens next. The morning felt heavier than usual. Not because the city was busier. Not because the office lights were brighter. But because now, every glance toward Olivia's office carried something unspoken, something electric. I tried to focus on my work. Emails, spreadsheets, schedules. All the things I normally obsessed over. But every few minutes, I caught her eye through the glass. And every time she looked at me, something in the room shifted. It was subtle. Just a tilt of her head. A slight smile. A glance that lasted a heartbeat too long. By lunch, I realized, this wasn't just chemistry. This was dangerous. Not dangerous in a reckless way. Dangerous in a way that could upend everything we had carefully built. I found myself standing outside her office door before I even knew I'd walked there. It was open. She was alone, reviewing a stack of reports. Daniel, she said softly, looking up. Come in. I stepped inside. The door clicked shut behind me, sealing the room from the rest of the world. She didn't sit behind her desk this time. She leaned casually against the windowsill, sunlight pouring around her. The city below looked bright, alive, but here inside, it was quiet. Intimate. Do you know what I've been thinking about? She asked, her voice calm, deliberate. About last night. I asked carefully. She smiled faintly. Partly. But also, about the risk we're taking. I took a slow breath. I know the risks. The board. The office gossip. Your reputation. My career. And yet, she said, stepping closer, her heels clicking softly against the marble floor. Here we are. Her eyes searched mine, unguarded, vulnerable. I've never done this before, she whispered. Allowed someone in. Allowed myself to want something beyond the office, beyond appearances. I swallowed. I want it too. More than I should. And more than I care about right now. Her laugh was soft, almost shy. You're reckless. I'm also honest, I replied. The air between us thickened. Not uncomfortable. Not awkward. But tense. Electric. Alive. She moved a step closer, just enough that the space between us vanished. Do you realize, she said slowly, that if anyone knew, everyone, our lives could become a mess? I know, I said. But this isn't about anyone else. It's about us. She tilted her head, studying me. Us. Yes, I said. Because you're not just my CEO. You're not just the Iron Queen. You're you. And I'm done pretending I can't feel something that real. Her eyes softened. There was a flicker of vulnerability there that I had only seen once before. Late that night when she had asked me to see her as a woman. I've built my life on control, she admitted. I've planned everything, executed everything perfectly. And yet, with you, I feel like I'm standing on the edge of something I can't control. I reached out, gently placing a hand near hers on the desk. She didn't pull away. Good, I said softly. Because maybe control isn't what we need. Her breath caught slightly. She leaned closer, not aggressively, but enough that I could feel her warmth, her heartbeat. I don't want an office romance, she said. I don't want whispers. I don't want judgment. I don't care, I said again, my voice firm. All I know is I care about you. She let out a soft exhale. The tension between us melted slightly. Do you know what's scary? She whispered. What? Feeling something for someone and not knowing if they feel the same. Not knowing if it's worth the risk. I smiled faintly. I've never been good at risks. But some things are worth it. Her gaze softened. And if it fails? Then at least we tried, I said. At least we were honest with each other. She nodded slowly, moving closer still. Our shoulders brushed. Our hands touched. For a moment, we just stood there, letting the quiet fill the room. The city outside was buzzing, alive with life. But here, it was just us. I want this, she whispered finally. But it terrifies me. I know, I said. It terrifies me too. But isn't that what makes it real? Her lips curved into a small, shy smile. You're different, she said. Calm, steady. Not afraid of me. Not afraid of who I am. I'm afraid of losing you, I admitted. But not of feeling something real. Her hand found mine again. Fingers intertwined. Warm. Gentle. Electric. Then let's take the risk, she said softly. Let's feel this. Fully. Completely. Without holding back. I nodded. I'm here. She leaned closer. Not for a kiss. Not yet. Just close enough that I could feel the soft warmth of her cheek, the quiet strength of her presence. And in that moment, everything else faded. The risks, the gossip, the boardroom, the office politics, they didn't matter. There was only us. Only the connection we'd finally acknowledged. Only the beginning of something neither of us could have predicted, but both of us had needed. She looked into my eyes, her own shimmering with a mix of fear and hope. I don't want secrets, she whispered. If this is just a moment, tell me now. It's not a moment, I said firmly. It's everything I've been holding back. And I won't pretend anymore. Her lips parted slightly. Her breath caught. And then, she smiled. Not the calculated, professional smile the world was used to. Not the Iron Queen smile. A genuine, soft, real smile. And I knew, in that moment, that the risk we were about to take was worth every fear, every doubt, every consequence. Because some connections, some love, are bigger than titles, bigger than reputations, bigger than control. And as she rested her hand on mine, leaning slightly closer, I realized we were standing on the edge of something dangerous. Something thrilling. Something real. And neither of us wanted to step back. Before we continue, if you've been feeling the tension and romance so far, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to follow every chapter. Like this video if you believe love is worth the risk. And comment below, would you stand by the person you love, even when the world is watching? Now, let's see what happens when the outside world notices. The office was buzzing louder than usual. Phones ringing, assistants rushing, coffee machines steaming, footsteps echoing through the hallways. But for Olivia and me, the world had shifted. Every glance now carried meaning. Every interaction held a secret only we understood. And apparently, someone else noticed. By mid-morning, whispers began. Just soft murmurs at first. She seems different today. Daniel looks unusually calm around her. They are too close, isn't that the CEO's office? I tried to ignore it. Focused on my reports, emails, meetings. But the tension was real. By the end of the day, it was impossible to ignore. The board had requested a private meeting. Olivia didn't flinch. Not in front of me. Not in front of anyone. I followed her into the glass-walled boardroom. The executives were already seated, expressions sharp, professional, skeptical. She took her usual place at the head of the table. But there was a difference. Her hand found mine under the table. Fingers intertwined. A quiet reassurance. I'm not nervous, she said softly, just enough for me to hear. I know, I whispered back. The meeting began. Questions. Concerns. Subtle digs. Hints that someone had noticed our connection. I understand the rumors, she said, voice steady. But let me be clear. Daniel and I maintain professionalism at all times. Our personal lives do not affect company decisions or strategy. The room was silent. Every executive waiting for a crack. But there wasn't one. She exuded confidence. Power. Control. The Iron Queen everyone knew. And yet, the vulnerability she had shown me, the softness I had seen in private, it still lingered in her eyes. After the meeting, when the board left the room, she exhaled deeply. "They'll judge me more than you," she said quietly, leaning on the edge of the table. I moved closer. "I know. And that's okay," she added. "I'm done living for approval." Her hands trembled slightly as she removed her blazer. Not from fear, but relief. "You've changed me," she whispered. "You've reminded me that I can be more than my title, more than my armor." "You don't have to carry it all alone," I said softly. "Not anymore." She looked at me, eyes glistening. "And what if they never understand?" "I don't need them to," I replied. "I just need you." She smiled, a real smile. Not professional. Not controlled. Just her. Later that evening, the office was quiet again. Just the two of us. We sat near the window, city lights glittering below. Hands still entwined. Silence comfortable, warm. "I never thought I'd allow someone this close," she admitted. "Not with my position, my responsibilities, my everything." "You trust me," I said. "I do," she said. "More than I've trusted anyone in years." Her head leaned slightly against my shoulder. I didn't move. I didn't pull away. We just stayed there, letting the city fade, letting the rumors fade, letting the world wait. "Do you ever regret this?" she asked softly. "No," I said without hesitation. "Not once." Her fingers brushed lightly against my cheek. "Then I guess we're taking a risk." "We're taking the best kind of risk," I replied. Because love, real, honest, fearless love, always came with risk. And for once, it was worth it. We talked for hours. About nothing and everything. About boardroom politics, strategy, city lights, memories, and dreams. For the first time, we weren't CEO and employee. Not the Iron Queen and her loyal executive. We were just two people. Two people learning to trust, to open, to feel. And every word, every glance, every touch reminded us. This connection was worth any judgment, any gossip, any risk. By the time the night ended, Olivia looked at me, eyes soft, vulnerable, strong. "Thank you," she whispered. "For what?" I asked. "For seeing me," she said. "Not the CEO. Not the title. Not the power. Just me." I smiled and kissed her hand gently. "I always will." The world could watch. Rumors could spread. Gossip could whisper. It didn't matter. Because we had each other. And for now, that was enough. Before we dive into the final chapter, if you've been with us through every twist and turn, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more heart-filled romance stories. Like this video if you've been rooting for Daniel and Olivia all along. And comment below, do you believe love can truly overcome power, gossip, and fear? Now, let's finish this story. 6 months had passed since everything changed. Since the night I first saw Olivia without her armor. The city outside her office windows looked brighter than ever. Morning light poured in, filling the room with warmth. The office was bustling, yes. Meetings, decisions, schedules. But something had shifted. Not in the company, not in the boardrooms, but in us. We were no longer just CEO and employee. We were partners in something deeper. Something real. And for once, it felt effortless. Olivia leaned against the windowsill, her hair loose, a soft smile touching her lips. The Iron Queen was still there, strong, commanding, but now softened by laughter and love. "Daniel," she said softly, turning to face me. "Do you remember the first time you saw me without my armor?" I smiled faintly. "How could I forget?" "You didn't look away," she whispered. "Not even for a second." "And I never will," I said. Her hand found mine, warm, familiar, grounding. "Do you realize how far we've come?" she asked, voice quiet but filled with emotion. "I do," I replied. "Every risk, every stolen moment, every secret, it was all worth it." Her laugh was soft, almost shy. "Sometimes I can't believe we're still standing. Against gossip. Against judgment. Against everything the world said we couldn't do. Then we ignored it," I said. "Because we had each other." She leaned closer. Our foreheads touched lightly. The city below glittered like liquid gold. "I don't ever want to go back to being untouchable," she said. "I want this. Us. Every day." "Then we don't," I whispered. And in that moment, the past months, the tension, the risk, the uncertainty, vanished. It wasn't about titles, or power, or appearances. It was about connection, trust, vulnerability. I took her hand gently and led her to the couch near the window. The The skyline behind us framed our private world. We've kept our balance, I said softly. We've faced judgment, but we've never let it control us. Her eyes shimmered. And now, I said, we live our lives. Fully, openly, honestly. She smiled. Not the controlled, professional smile. Not the Iron Queen smile. A soft, real, beautiful smile. I pulled her into a gentle embrace. She rested her head against my chest. We didn't need words. Our hands intertwined. Fingers brushing. Palms pressing softly. The city outside was alive. Bright. Full of movement. But in this room, there was only calm. Only warmth. Only us. I never thought love could feel like this, she whispered. Not with my life, my responsibilities, everything. You deserve it, I said softly. And I'm here. Every step. Every challenge. Every quiet moment. She lifted her head slightly, eyes locking with mine. Do you ever worry? About what? About the world catching up. About judgment. About losing this moment. I smiled. I only worry about missing you. Missing a chance to be present. Missing a chance to love you fully. She rested her forehead against mine again. Then let's promise. Yes. I asked. That we'll never let titles, power, or fear define us. That we'll always choose us. I promise, I whispered. And with that promise, something shifted again. We were no longer afraid. No longer cautious. No longer restrained. The office, the city, the world outside, all of it faded. There was only the warmth of her, the strength in her vulnerability, the love we had built together. I cupped her face gently, looking into her eyes. You've changed me too, Olivia. You've reminded me that love isn't just about safety. It's about courage. About taking risks. About showing your heart, even when the world watches. Her lips curved into a small, shy smile. Then I guess we're fearless together. I laughed softly, brushing a stray lock of hair from her face. Fearless. Always. And in that moment, I felt it, the culmination of everything. The late nights. The whispers. The boardroom challenges. The stolen glances. It had all led here. To this. To love that was real, bold, and unafraid. She leaned into me fully now, resting her head against my chest. My arms wrapped around her. You see me, she whispered. Not the CEO. Not the title. Not the armor. Just me. I always will, I said. The city outside sparkled as if celebrating with us. And for the first time in years, Olivia Carter didn't feel the need to be untouchable. She was free. We were free. And we had each other. She lifted her head slightly and smiled again. Thank you. For what? I asked. For seeing me, she said. Truly seeing me. You don't ever have to thank me, I replied softly. It's my honor. It always will be. We stayed there, wrapped in each other's arms, the city lights casting a golden glow around us. No more judgment. No more fear. No more pretending. Just love. Real, fearless, unstoppable love. And as she rested her head fully against my chest, I knew that no matter what the world said, no matter the challenges ahead, we had built something stronger than power. Stronger than titles. Stronger than fear. We had built each other. And that was everything.